I'm at the trailer. If you're driving around through some snowy and ice conditions, more of those light duty conditions, and you just need a little bit of extra traction, or you live in a state that requires you to have chains and you just need something on hand to stay legal, then the Glacier Chains Tire Chains are going to be a great option for your 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. And our tire size today is going to be 235 60 R18. Now, this will fit a variety of different tire sizes. That's just the one we have today. If you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, you can actually plug in your vehicle's information into a fit guide to find the correct fit for you. We're also going to have this on the front axle as what the manual recommends. So let's check it out. What I like about these chains is they're going to offer us plenty of clearance. So these are actually going to be Class S chains, and you can see the space underneath our chains to our suspension. And these are also going to be roller link style chains. So what that means is a couple things. So first, they're going to offer you a pretty smooth ride because they're just going to roll. The downside is they're going to be more for those light duty conditions because we don't have that hard edge to the links. Also, we made from a low carbon steel, which will also lend to us having a smoother ride overall because this is going to be a softer metal. They might not last as long as some of our more premium chains, but they'll still get the job done. And then we're going to have this ladder pattern to them. This ladder pattern is going to give us a little bit more traction when we're stopping and starting. And if we look at the very bottom, we can see how everything is cinched together. It's basically just these metal blocks that are being held in place by this metal stopper right here. And these are okay. The tough thing about these is trying to get them tightened enough. As you can see, we still got a little bit of slack here. It's still tight enough to drive on. I definitely would check these tires a lot if I was driving with them. Now, if you want something to help give you a little bit more peace of mind with these chains, I'd recommend investing in a rubber tensioner. What's nice about a rubber tensioner is when you're driving with chains, a lot of times your chains are going to shift. And when they shift, they're going to loosen up. What a rubber tensioner does is it applies tension the entire time as you drive. So even if they do loosen up some, it'll still keep them nice and tight. And these chains are going to come in a set of 2 in this pretty light duty bag. But that's okay because these are some pretty light duty chains. One of the things I don't like about this bag though is it's a pretty small bag, which is great for trying to store them in the back of your vehicle so they don't take up a lot of space. But the downside is when you try to roll these chains up, they're going to be really hard to get back in here. And that's going to be because these chains are just kind of springy. So it's going to be difficult. Now, if you're looking for something to help you out with that, I'd recommend just investing in a small tote. Still won't take up a lot of space in your vehicle, but it's going to be a heck of a lot easier than this. Now, in my opinion, I think these are a good set of chains if you're just trying to stay legal in your state and you're looking for something affordable too. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to give you just a little bit more traction, it's still really easy to store, and is going to be very affordable as well, or around the same price range, then I'd recommend checking out some Titan Chain snow socks. What I like about those is they're actually a lot easier to install than these because 2 reasons. One, we don't have to deal with anything connecting, so you don't have to worry about tightening this up to the right spec. And you don't have to get underneath your vehicle like you do with these because this is pretty low to the ground. It's going to be a tight fit. But if you like chains more than socks, because one of the major benefits is if you run into some spotty areas that might have a little bit of pavement showing through the snow, you don't have to worry about these getting damaged too much. The thing with socks is if they kind of interact with any pavement spots, that can really tear them up pretty fast. But if you're curious to see what the installation looks like with these chains, just stay tuned. I'll walk you through the process. To begin our installation, we're going to lay out our chains and grab some gloves just to make this easier. And if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home, trying this out because you don't want to try to figure this out on the side of the road on the middle of a blizzard. Now what we're looking for is to see if there's any damages to our links. And just kind of rolling it over these links in our hands, making sure everything looks good. And the check is in the right orientation. As you can see right here, you want to make sure that hook is facing up so it doesn't make contact with the tread of our tire. Once you've done that, we can start laying this out and getting it on the tire itself. I'm just going to grab from the center and drape it over until everything looks pretty even. You want to make sure nothing's hanging too low, making contact with that rim. Just put a hand back here, and if it feels even, you should be good. And then I like to lay out the bottom of this, so it's going to be a little bit easier so we can make those connections. Speaking of those connections, I'm going to grab the side with those metal blocks, and I'm going to connect them through the side with the channel. Now this is going to be a pretty tight fit under here, especially if you are a larger person. But a lot of times I can kind of guide this through with one hand. And this might take you a few attempts, just because when we tighten this down, we don't want to tighten it too much. We want to leave it loose enough so it's going to be even on both ends, because if it's not even, you're not going to get an even fit. The front side's going to be the same process. You can see a little bit better though. I'm just guiding these blocks through that channel where the larger opening is until this feels pretty tight. Might be able to get this one more. There we go. And you notice we have this tab on the side. What that's for is for this extra length we have on the side, just to run that through so it's not dangling around as we drive. After this, while we do have a pretty good fit, and I recommend just testing it to feel like it is good, I recommend grabbing a rubber tensioner just for that extra support. And when you put this on, I recommend doing it in a star pattern. You also want to make sure we want to keep these metal hooks away from our tire so it's not puncturing anything. And you want to make sure it's pretty even. Right now I don't have the best fit, so I'm actually going to move these over just a bit. There we go, that looks a lot better. Again, just really pull on it to make sure you got a good fit. Then I recommend repeating that process on the other side. Afterwards, you can pull forward or back up some. Just make sure everything still looks good. And if it is, you can take it out for a ride. But that's just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Glacier Chains tire chains on our 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.